Hey guys, this video is going to be on fiddlesticks support. Now, the primary role you think of whenever you're thinking of fiddlesticks is the jungle. But in Korea, there actually aren't that many fiddlesticks jungle mains that are high elo. But this guy, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but I'll link his OPGG in the description below. This guy means Fiddlesticks support, and he's the highest ranked Fiddlesticks main currently on the North American server. Now, he's starting out lane, and he starts out with the Relic Shield and 2 pots. He's playing against Vagar Thresh this game, and this game is like a high Grandmaster, low Challenger game. So this guy is pretty high elo. Now, the runes he likes to go are Arcane Comet. And how do you look at runes again? Oh yeah, it's right here. Arcane Comet, Mana Flow Band, Transcendence, Scorch, Bone Plating, Unflinching, and he goes 1 adaptive damage shard with 2 magic resist shards. So he brings 2 resist shards into lane. Now that's because as Fiddlesticks support, you're not really worried as much about doing damage. And as you can see, he started E, so he's just spamming it on these people as he's laning. And he goes Q second. You can see in the bottom left that he went to Q second. Now, people actually do not like Fiddlesticks Jungle in Korea. He's not high enough tempo. In Korea, they always want their jungler to always be able to do something like a level 3 dive or something, and they really do not like junglers that full clear. And unfortunately, Fiddlesticks is a jungler who full clears. If you I used to watch Teddy Sticks a lot um back in the day, and people would get mad at him, call him AFK jungler because he didn't level 3 gank and he full cleared instead. And then he's eventually he started playing with like chat fully off, I'm pretty sure. So it's pretty rough over there in Korea as a Fiddlesticks main. But this guy seems to be doing pretty well in the support role. Oh, he's getting ganked. Let's see what he does. He eat the thresh for the slow and he's staying away. I think he's trying to not get feared. He's trying not to let the Nocturne get his fear on them. Now while he does have Arcane Comet this game, he usually goes Aftershock um into more aggressive lanes. I mean Thresh kind of is an engage support, but he's not like um pure engage. When he goes into like Nautilus or Leona or a con, like a pure engage support, he always takes Aftershock to avoid dying. I guess he doesn't see Thresh as at that hard of an engage as Nautilus or Leona, so he chooses not to go on the Aftershock and goes Arcane Comet instead. Now, this lane isn't super interesting in the early levels. He mostly just like spams his E to poke out enemies. And here he flashes on the Vagar to try and save his ADC with the fear, but unfortunately the Sivir has already died. It's going to be kind of interesting to see what this guy does, because obviously, as you can see, the early levels aren't that great with Fiddlesticks support. Kind of similar to how he is in the jungle. He doesn't do a lot early, but once he reaches level 6, maybe we'll start to see why he is the highest ranked Fiddlesticks main in Korea right now. All right, he's going back to base. What does he get on his first back? His first back, he just buys boots and a control ward. Okay, so he's not interested in um, damage that much necessarily. He wants roaming. And when he hit level 4, by the way, he put a second point into his Q, so he's maxing Q first. His skill order was E, Q, W, Q. And he's probably just gonna max out Q first. He places an effigy there for vision. He was a little bit late to mid lane. The Thresh got there first, but his laner trade 1 for 1 anyways, though, so it's not that bad. So he's just pushing in the wave. for his Yasuo so he doesn't get frozen. Yeah, this should be enough. Most of the waves under turret, so it should push back to Yasuo. He's fixed his Yasuo's wave. Now he needs to head back to bot lane and I guess chill with his Sivir and soak lane EXP. See, his character still can't do a lot until it reaches level 6. I think they missed the pink ward with that bush somehow. It's not giving vision of the entire bush. That's a bit unfortunate. Yeah, it's not giving vision of the bush. Oh well. Fine. He's almost level 6, actually. He's about 1/3 of his way to level 6 from level 5. He's now 2/3 of the way. On the next wave, he should hit level 6. And we'll see what he does from there. Remember, we're still maxing Q. His Ignite is back up now. So maybe when maybe he'll hide in like the bush and secretly get level 6 and then just try to ult them and all in them with like his ultimate and Ignite. He's okay. He's placing this effigy here in front of him, so if the Thresh tries to blind hook, it hits the effigy instead of him. Alright. The enemy team is actually respecting the fact that he can hit level 6 right now, so he's just going to recall in the bush, so they'll have vision of him. And he actually doesn't stay for that last minion that would have gotten him level 6. I feel like he should have stayed for that, but it's okay. If he roams to a lane, hides in a bush, and at least waits for 1 minion of experience, he'll hit level 6. Right now, he wants to roam to this Herald fight that's happening. And he gets the Silence into Fear on the Annie, so it's a free kill, and now he has hit level 6. Alright, and this is where he can really start to do stuff. He sees his Yasuo fighting down here in the jungle, and he doesn't use his ultimate. And I guess he knows that he doesn't even need to use ult. And he helps his Yasuo pick up another kill onto the Thresh. Alright. Now he is walking around and it looks like he's going to try to ult top lane. Yeah, he's just immediately walks into the bush, presses R, and he picks up the kill onto the enemy top laner. Okay, so this guy, as you can see, he's not that interested in laning. He knows that Fiddlesticks. He's like, hey, I played Fiddlesticks to roam with my ultimate because he's got a lot of crowd control and a lot of kill potential. He's kind of like it's kind of playing like jungle, except he doesn't have to farm camps, which seems kind of broken. He seems to understand that Fiddlesticks isn't that great in lane. If you hit level 6 and the enemy team starts playing back and you don't have kill potential, well, then you just roam because if they're playing back after you hit level 6, you number one, you can't pick up kills on them, but number two, they're too scared to go in on your ADC because they're playing around your ultimate. They're respecting that you could be sitting behind your ADC waiting to press R. Um, but instead, this guy's like, okay, I'm gonna recall, not let them see I recall once I'm around level 6, and now I'm just gonna roam. So he roams, he gets 3 KP for himself. Now he actually went Mobies. This really signifies that he really just wants to roam since he has Mobies and he has double amp tome. So I forgot to go over that, but that's when what he picked up after getting that 3 kill participation top side. Now he knows that he doesn't really do any damage, so he's just gonna clear vision around the dragon. Qmax Fiddlesticks. Your Q will actually do quite a bit of damage, but it's got a very long cooldown, so he's not going to do a lot of DPS to the dragon. He's probably just saving it in case like the enemy team tries to contest, but They don't end up contesting. Now he really seems to like doing this. He walks into the bush and then just recalls so they don't see him recall. Oh, but he decided to stay actually. Maybe he's thinking that they're going to, yeah, he's thinking that like, okay, he decided not to do anything. Maybe he was thinking that they might like try to engage onto the siver, but they ended up not doing that. Now he's running into this bush and he's running back. Now he'll recall. His ADC. Wait, both bot laners brought teleport this game. It's kind of crazy. I realize that. And let's see where he goes now. He's not heading back to lane. He's going to roam again. So every time he recalls, he likes to roam. What did he buy this time? He bought the Lost Chapter. Now, this guy actually likes to go Crown as his mythic item. I'm not really sure why, but sometimes he'll go Crown first and then Zhonya's, and sometimes he'll go Zhonya's into Crown. I'm not, I don't know the specific reasoning behind each, but I know he likes to build very defensively. He likes to be a huge distraction. You're not really there to deal damage as Fiddlestick support. You're there to be like a huge CC bot. Like you get a 5-man fear, which helps your team engage and they follow up. And then also they try to focus you inside your ultimate. You've got the Crown and Zanya, so you buy a lot of time for your team as well. You can buy a lot of space. You can tank a lot of their damage thanks to the like you get like basically 5 seconds where like you barely take any damage, and then after that you can probably take a lot of damage with your W as well. He's just playing around his team. He doesn't think he has any good opportunity to ult yet. Sorry. Maybe he ults as soon as he gets into. Oh wait, he doesn't even have ult. Sorry. When did he use his ult again? Hmm. Forgot he used his ult. Sorry. It's coming off cooldown soon, and he's got 6 KP now. The Nocturne ulted bot lane. He knows that his Sivir is either dead. Yeah, he knows that she's just dead, so he just abandoned her. There's nothing he can do to really help her out. He's going to be recalling, and he's going to be. I'm assuming he's just going to run top or mid once again. He likes to roam a lot. Actually, he's roaming bot lane. I guess he wants to catch this wave because his ADC's dead, which makes sense. His ultimate is actually back up. Is he going to go for a kill on this Veigar? No, he knows that the Veigar walked up and warded, so he's actually not going to go for the kill. Instead, he's running straight to mid. He's placing an effigy to clear vision, placing some regular ward vision. He sees that his team's fighting topside. He's probably just going to run straight to it, but he doesn't want to be seen yet. Once he's sure they're really going in, he just walks up, but then he backs off because his team backed off too. It's all right, though. His team is still in the lead this game. He sees that everyone's top side now, so he's going to hover top side. Maybe they're going to go for the Rift Herald and they'll stick around so they can take it. All right, where does he go now? All right, he just bought another component for the crown, the Kindle gem. Uh, Now, not a lot has been happening so far, but that's all right. Fiddle's weakest stage of the game is usually his early game. So, oh, he's getting off an ultimate bot lane. The enemy Vagar pushed up too far without vision. I mean, he was probably just thinking he was like, "Oh, this Fiddlesticks is just perma roaming. I can safely walk up and hit this turret." But this time he was wrong. So this time the Fiddlesticks was waiting to ult him. They pick up a second dragon, and now they're probably going to take the bot turret. He's hovering around to make sure they get vision. Riot has another spaghetti code bug, and we're just going to recall it back to base. With that, does he have enough gold for his crown? No, his support's still too low of an income roll to get by his crown yet. He just buys an amp tome. Now, looks like he's just going to head top side. They already took bot turrets and dragon, so there's not really any reason for him to go bot anymore. And he sees they're all top side. He doesn't have vision right now because everyone's nearsighted. But oh, the Annie stuns him, so he's not able to get off a good ultimate. And then his Ivern dies. His Yasuo died earlier. Isn't looking too good right now. And he silences and slows the Annie because you can't kill his gangplank. He's singing his bush. Oh, is Sivir killed? Oh, he flashes away from the Annie just in time to not die. Sivir did manage to pick up the kill on the Thresh, but she died somewhere off screen. The enemy team's starting to make a little bit of comeback. He did have a hard time getting off a good ult, and he still doesn't have enough to buy um, his crown. Maybe that'll all change soon. Any team is starting to play a lot more aggressive. There's a lot more fights happening, which might mean that there are going to be a lot more ultimate opportunities for our Korean Grandmaster Fiddlesticks support friends. He's farming his support item gold right now. So still not a ton happening, which is actually kind of unusual for Korea. Usually Korea likes to have tons of action happening. His team picked up a kill on the enemy Thresh. He's walking around securing more vision control. He's hovering behind his Ivern. He's the Annie, but his outline gets shown, so that it's not really an ultimate opportunity for him. Now he's ulting under turret, and they pick up a kill on the Gnar. Oh, but the Nocturne ults him and picks him up. But remember, he's just the support. That means their jungler died just to kill the support. Um, that's actually another benefit of playing Fiddlesticks is that you're almost just as useful utility wise as Fiddlesticks jungle. But if the enemy team decides to focus you, you're just the support. You're not the jungler. Your team can still get objectives afterwards. It's not like your team lost one of their important carries. You're just the support. All right, he's gonna run back to his team. Oh, but his team is dying bot lane. And then sprint back there. I'm just gonna fast forward while he's sprinting back to his teammates. And they're fighting. He just walks up and silences. He still doesn't have ult yet, but his team has died. His ADC died. Only Yasuo's left. There's not really any room to do any more fighting, but it's okay. They're actually not losing any objectives off of this. The only objective the enemy team's able to get is probably the bot turret. His whole team will still be up for Dragon, and so will his ultimate. Now we're heading top side. Maybe he wants to get a little bit of vision top side because Baron is up, just to make sure they don't start Baron whenever they do Dragon. It's pretty common that like after 20 minutes, if you guys do Dragon, the enemy team might like rush Baron. He's pinging his team actually to do Baron. Oh, but his Ivern died. Bit unfortunate. They won't be able to get the dragon now, and they can't get Baron either. His team is pushing mid, and he's hovering behind them. The enemy team's pushing mid now. Maybe he can finally get off a good ultimate. We'll see. The team is clearing vision around Baron. He's hovering behind his teammates, making sure they don't have vision. He just blind ult, and he gets the Thresh. He just blind ulted. He predicted. I mean, he had a ward, so he probably knew that the Thresh hadn't walked back into his jungle yet. So he's just like, I'm just gonna blind ult this, and maybe we can do Baron. I just predicted that his team was. Now the enemy team's focusing him, using their ultimates. He did unfortunately flash. His team secured Baron, and his team is cleaning up the enemy team. They ended up going 3 for 3 overall. So the Thresh was picked up before they started Baron, and they also got Baron. Um, and he's not a KDA player either. He's finally got his crown now. He's got an amplifying tome and a ruby crystal. I'm actually not sure what item he's going second with these. Maybe like a Rylai's or something. Is he does like to go for the utility on Fiddlesticks instead of damage. And you could see earlier in that Baron fight that after he used his ultimate, he just like walked at the enemy backline and kind of just sacrificed himself to create space for his team because he's not a KDA player. He knows that he's just the support, so that if the enemy team like uses their ultimates on him to kill him, then it's actually pretty work. It's like you just type like he Y focus support XD in all chat, you know? He's constantly hovering behind his jungler, walking behind his jungler. Also, you want to be hovering your teammates when you're playing fiddle. Just in general, when you're like playing fiddlesticks, you constantly want to be hovering your teammate. Of it. Annie blast cones into the dragon pit, I guess, to like try and flank them, and she ends up picking up the gangplank. He can't really do anything about that. And he's once again going to be hovering behind his teammate. Actually got pretty high KP. He's got like 10 KP, and he's pushing with Baron. They spot his team with a blue ward. Clear another blue ward. And his team's getting engaged on. He just fears away the Gnar. He doesn't really have a good ult angle, so he's playing back still. He popped the Vagar's crown with his W, and he's still playing back. Oh, but now he's ulting in finally. He fears the Vagar. His team engages, and they get 2 kills on the Yasuo. They kill the Annie too? Okay. He played that very patiently. He was just like, okay, I need to make sure I get off a good ult. If I get off a bad ult, then we just lose the fight. Like he knew that like when his Ivory got engaged on and died, he was like, I can't ult here. I'm not gonna get off a good ultimate. And he just keeps walking back, keeps baiting the enemy team forward, and eventually they step up a little bit too far, and he gets off a good ultimate that wins his team the fight. This guy, he actually doesn't really seem to like engaging with his ultimate that much. He seems to like to perma hover behind his teammates, let them start a fight, or let the enemy team engage, and then he's just sitting behind his team, waiting for the enemy team to misstep just a tiny bit, and then he ults in and engages. Um, after that fight, he picked up a Hex Tech Alternator. I guess he's either going like Shadow Flame or Cosmic Drive, or maybe Morello Nomicon. I don't see why he would go Morello Nomicon this game, so I'm gonna assume it's Shadow Flame or Horizon Focus. I guess he's noticed that he's like the only main source of AP damage this game, and any team's not building any magic resist. So he can actually go Shadow Flame and still do a lot of damage, even though he's a support. Right? He's securing vision for his team as Dragon's about to spawn. He's hovering in the mid bush for the enemy team. And this time he engages with his ultimate, but unfortunately he doesn't find anyone with his ultimate here. Team burned a lot of ultimates, but maybe they've secured enough space for themselves to quickly pick up a dragon. Ivern unfortunately gets stunned, but he lives the Vagar burst. The Annie flash ults into his team, and this time he doesn't have his ultimate to counter engage, but he just sits inside the bush. Do they think he has like ultimate up again or something? They're way too scared to go in. Maybe the enemy team just knows it's a bad fight. Anyways, he was sitting in that bush there, out of vision, waiting for the enemy team to walk up. So if they walk up too far and don't check the bush, he would have been able to W and fear the enemy team. So I guess that's another reason why they had to be scared to go on. Is Yasuo lands a knockup on the Vagar and they pick up the kill on the Vagar. And his Yasuo also knocks up the Annie and picks up a kill on the Annie. And I think that might be game here. His team's picked up kills on their two main carries. They just need to push in the wave and maybe they'll end before they respawn, but it is taking a little bit. Gnar and Nocturne don't really have the best wave clear. They're both um, kind of short range, out kind of AoE damage. He ults in, they pick up a kill on the Thresh. They're ending the game, and it looks like it's GG here. That was interesting to watch. I think this guy kind of plays like he's a secondary jungler as a support and perma roams all the time, and that's what's let him climb to high elo.